This is the case of Blaine Milam, a name etched into the grim history of Texas capital punishment. It involves the brutal death of a child, 13-month-old Amora Carson. The details of this crime present a harrowing example of extreme violence inflicted upon the most vulnerable. It is a case that challenges our understanding of human depravity. Beyond the horrific nature of the act itself, the Milam case highlights the profound complexities inherent within the American justice system. It forces a critical examination of evidence, procedure, and the very definition of culpability. The setting for this tragedy was a modest trailer located in Rusk County, deep within the piney woods of East Texas. It was a place that became the scene of unimaginable horror. Living in that trailer were Blaine Milam, his girlfriend Jessica Carson, and Jessica's infant daughter, Amora. Their lives were intertwined in a way that would lead to catastrophe. The incident that sealed Amora's fate occurred in December of 2008, just weeks before Christmas. A time typically associated with joy became one of profound sorrow and shock. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. On the morning of December 2nd, 2008, Blaine Milam placed a frantic call to 911 dispatchers. His voice conveyed a sense of urgency and distress. Milam claimed during the call that he had discovered the infant Amora, unresponsive and dead. He presented a narrative designed to deflect suspicion. He suggested to the authorities that a break-in might have occurred, implying that an unknown intruder was responsible for the child's death. This was a deliberate fabrication. However, the truth of what transpired in that trailer was far more sinister than any simple break-in. The reality was a product of twisted beliefs and horrific actions. It was Jessica Carson, Amora's own mother, who eventually admitted the horrifying reality to investigators. Her confession peeled back the layers of deceit. Jessica revealed that Blaine Milam had performed what he termed an exorcism on Amora. This was the context for the violence that followed. Milam genuinely believed that the 13-month-old infant was possessed by a demon. This delusion fueled his subsequent actions. The medical examiner's findings provided the stark, undeniable reality of the abuse Amora Carson suffered. The autopsy report detailed injuries that shocked even seasoned professionals. Amora had been severely beaten. The force used was tremendous, causing extensive internal and external trauma to her tiny body. She had also been strangled. The act of cutting off her air supply was part of the prolonged assault she endured. Perhaps most disturbingly, Amora had been sexually mutilated. This element added another layer of depravity to an already unspeakable crime. Her body was covered in a staggering number of human bite marks, 24 in total. These marks were later identified as belonging to both Milam and Carson. The medical examiner who performed the autopsy described Amora's case as the worst instance of child brutality he had ever witnessed in his career. This statement underscored the extreme nature of the violence. During the investigation, a pipe wrench was discovered hidden underneath the trailer. Its presence raised immediate suspicion. The pipe wrench was believed by investigators to be one of the instruments used as a murder weapon in the assault on Amora. Its weight and composition were consistent with some of the injuries. Following the killing, Jessica Carson asked her aunt to hide the pipe wrench. This was an attempt to conceal crucial evidence from the authorities. However, the aunt, upon learning of the request and suspecting foul play, did not comply. Instead, she immediately alerted the police to the presence of the wrench and Jessica's request. In a chilling display of callousness, after inflicting these horrific injuries and leaving the child for dead, the couple engaged in mundane activities. They pawned items for cash and used the money to buy cigarettes. Blaine Milam was subsequently arrested and charged with capital murder. The state of Texas pursued the most severe penalty available under the law. The criteria for capital murder were met due to the victim's age. Texas law designates the murder of a child under the age of 10 as a capital offense. Amora was only 13 months old. Furthermore, the nature of the crimes committed during the assault also satisfied capital murder criteria. The underlying felony crimes, such as sexual assault, elevated the charge. During the sentencing phase, the prosecution argued that Milam's actions demonstrated a clear propensity for future dangerousness. The extreme brutality of the crime itself was presented as proof. Based on the evidence presented and the jury's findings, Blaine Milam was sentenced to death. He was condemned to die by lethal injection. Jessica Carson, Amora's mother, also faced legal consequences for her role. She received a life sentence in prison. Jessica's sentence was primarily for standing by and failing to intervene during the prolonged and brutal assault on her daughter. Her inaction was deemed criminal complicity. Milam's journey through the Texas death penalty system has been marked by significant delays. His execution has been postponed multiple times since his initial sentencing. These delays are a direct result of ongoing legal challenges mounted by his defense team. The appeals process in capital cases is lengthy and complex. One of the primary arguments raised by Milam's attorneys is that he is intellectually disabled. This claim has been a central focus of his post-conviction appeals. The argument posits that executing an individual who is intellectually disabled is unconstitutional, violating the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. This legal principle is based on Supreme Court precedent. This argument initially gained traction and was supported by a stay of execution issued in 2021. The court ordered further review of the intellectual disability claim. The case has become further complicated by evolving standards in forensic science, specifically changes in the perceived reliability of bite mark analysis. Bite mark evidence played a role in Milam's original trial. Additionally, the legal landscape surrounding intellectual disability claims in Texas has changed since Milam's conviction. New legislative and judicial standards have been implemented. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, the state's highest criminal court, issued a stay of execution in 2019. This decision halted the previously scheduled execution date. The court ordered the lower trial court to conduct a re-examination of the case. This mandated review was based on specific concerns raised by the defense. The court cited concerns about the reliability of the bite mark evidence presented at Milam's trial. The scientific community's view on the certainty of bite mark identification has shifted significantly over the years. The court also cited the need to reassess Milam's intellectual disability claims under updated legal and medical standards. The criteria for evaluating such claims have been refined. The lower court will now consider Milam's claims of intellectual disability under current medical and legal standards. This involves new evaluations and expert testimony. As of the latest court rulings, Blaine Milam is currently scheduled to be executed on September 25, 2025. However, further appeals and legal maneuvers remain possible before that date.